told him this would happen.
I've never played this. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, Raspy.
Perfect. There we go. All right. So, hello everybody. This is Heather Alexandra, your content and community manager here at Double Fine. We're doing a little something right now that I don't know when it will see the light of day, because these are the projects for Amnesia Fortnight 2019. We are starting off with A Way Down by Lauren Scott. Say hello, Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren Scott. I am a senior systems designer at Double Fine, and normally I'm working on Psychonauts 2, but it was 2019, wasn't it? I was just thinking, like, oh yeah, October. Why does October feel so far away?
Time means nothing anymore, right? It's just a whole big blur, a whole big wacky blur. But this is your project.
Yep, this is our project. It was big team. Well, actually, not a big team. It was a team of...
Yeah, how many people was it total?
Oh my gosh. I don't remember. I have the channel. If I just look up the...
Oh yeah, you can peek at it. I'll keep playing as we go. Because I know the team sizes for Amnesia Fortnight vary. For people who are listening to this who don't know what Amnesia Fortnight is, it is a period where we take a little break at the studio and people can pitch their own projects that we then build prototypes of. It started at around 2012 or so. We've been doing it for a while now. How big was your team?
So it was about 10 people at the core.
Not bad.
And then we had other, a composer and who was offsite, and helpers like with sound that helped with all of the teams. So, but yeah, the core team was about 10 to 12 people.
All right. I didn't know there was a little ambrosia up there.
Yeah, we like to hide little secrets.
I did find this. Ha! I'm behind your...
Yeah.
Behind your wall.
So behind there actually, like, we were just playing around. We were building the levels, and someone, for some reason, put a picture of someone named Screech from Saved by the Bell back there that you could, like, get to, and I think we had to take that out
for to block it off.
Copyright reasons or something.
Yeah. So I guess...
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to say, as we get here, though, we get to what is essentially the main gameplay hook of this project, which is taking the level up curve of games and flipping it on its head. So instead of gaining abilities, you are giving up abilities as you go.
Yeah, so the story is, this goddess's sister has been taken hostage by Persephone at the bottom of the underworld. But she, as a goddess, in order to traverse the different levels of the underworld, has to give up powers each time.
Yes.
So the first power that you give up is the same for everybody.
Yeah,
it's sort of like the tutorial power.
Your immortality, which is a neat touch. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It sets clear stakes, right?
Yeah.
Which is very, very cool. I wanted to ask, because I think this is a very, like, immediately understandable concept for people who have even a little bit of literacy with video games, right? I think by now people are used to the idea of leveling up, whether that's RPGs or anything else. So I was wondering if you started... I'd be curious to know if you started with the idea or if the story had come to you first and you built the idea there. I feel like you probably came up with the gameplay idea first, right?
Yeah, I think the gameplay idea came first. The concept kind of stuck on pretty closely after, but yeah, I mean, when I design, I like to explore new things, and I sort of try to avoid, boring tropes that we've seen a bazillion times.
Yes.
And with a project that was only going to be able to take 2 weeks, it seemed like a cool idea to take this game design idea that has just like is so ubiquitous and turn it on its head. It seemed like something that would be easy to communicate in that span of time, and that would be like a fun little tongue-in-cheek sort of thing.
And the abilities, I was gonna say the abilities are pretty like straightforward and easy to grasp too, in terms of what you would have in a prototype, right? It's like you lose your ability to attack or to double jump or to, in this case, like, oh, I messed it up, but you can like do that little teleport to get in there and talk to these little fellas, right? All really easy to understand abilities that have clear advantages and cool uses, and then you got to give them all up, which is a bummer.
Yeah, and after immortality, the player can give up their powers in any order that they want.
Yes.
So every level that you start can be, a different combination of powers. So, players might have a totally different playthrough. If you give up flight first, you'll have a totally different experience than if you give up your attack power first, say.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't even be able to get up here. And that provided, a level design challenge, which is like you have to make sure that your later levels cater to all of those different combinations.
Right.
Like you want to make sure that, like a level after this is fun.
Yeah.
Whether you have given up attack or flight or all those,
I think it's interesting, right? Because I look at this pit that we just kind of climbed up. I'm hopping back down again, and it's like for now everybody's going to have flight, so you can design this pit, right? But as we move forward into the game, the next level, I might not have flight, or 2 levels from now, I might not have flight. So I have to imagine some of the challenge comes from. I mean, the core hook is awesome in the sense that you can give up anything in any order, but that definitely must provide a lot of different challenges in terms of making sure that you don't accidentally build spaces that it turns out people can't get through.
Yeah, totally. And the balance actually is making sure that every level is something that any combination of powers or lost powers can get through, but that provides little secrets and rewards depending on which power you do decide to keep. So yeah. I
was gonna say in that case, then I'm gonna give up. This is the one that lets you talk to the souls, which I think is such a sad. For me, it's a sad thing to give up because it's a nice way to have like these nice, cool, chatty moments with characters, but also like since I'm playing right now, I'm like I kind of want to keep some abilities. But I guess I wanted to ask design-wise for designing levels for a thing like this, what does that process look like? Are you sketching them out on paper with folks, prototyping that way, or how do you build out these spaces?
So I definitely wrote. I remember drawing out some level designs on paper.
Sure.
Me and the other designer on the team, Gabe, we both sort of. How we designed is actually we designed room by room. So like this sort of big square that you're in is a room, and the concept for this one, like the powers that I guess the powers that can get you through this room are blink, and attacking.
And then attacking.
So you only need one of those to be able to get through without being damaged, which you will inevitably have. So it's sort of like each room has a set of powers that it works with and maybe 1 or 2 powers that it doesn't work with, and we layer those on so that there is a path to the end.
Yes.
But there is also little goodies that you would have to play through another time to get, like play through with a different combination of powers.
Right, like, because I hit the button before, but maybe we might have been talking over it, but like if I try and talk to these fellas now, I can't understand them because I gave away my wonderful helmet. Look at these fellas over here.
Yeah, they're...
I'm going for it. Okay.
They're...
These funny little gremlin buds.
Yeah, so if you didn't have your lyre, your weapon,
that
would have been a perilous thing to do. Actually, I don't think you would have even been able to break those.
Yeah, no, the rocks
boulders.
would have gotten in the way. I was gonna say,
so.
Otherwise I was like, maybe I could have done something with Blink, but I don't think so because the rocks were still there. Yeah, so I needed.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about for having those little side things that reward players. sort of
Yeah.
on different playthroughs even, right? Like even for a prototype like this, I can go through and have, different experiences going through even just the handful of levels that exist, right? Just by choosing different powers in different orders. I gave up attacking because I just like,
Okay.
I like these better.
Yeah.
I like dashing around and jumping.
So I think do you still have an attack? If you press the button, does it do anything? Oh yeah, so your attack is just really...
Yeah, it's very
or
limited.
maybe it's not.
Or maybe, can I...
I don't even know.
I don't know,
Maybe
there's...
not.
Maybe, can I... What does it... I mean, I'm definitely hitting them, but maybe I can't get, rid of them. I definitely can't destroy this.
Yeah.
As hard as I try.
That's a big one.
That's the big one.
And if you noticed, as you give up powers, the corresponding piece of armor
disappears as well.
Disappears, yeah.
Yeah.
So you had the helmet
I had the
at first,
helmet.
and when you gave up that power, the helmet is now gone. You can see her pretty hair.
It's the opposite of getting cool suits in Metroid, right?
Yeah.
Which
but
is very...
It's interesting because as you sort of give up powers, you're seeing more of the character underneath.
Yeah.
So, like, instead of building up this character, you're sort of revealing her and learning more about her.
Yeah, and that also, I mean, we gave up immortality at the start, but I suppose as you go on, right, in theory, right, it feels more perilous because you are more exposed or more vulnerable. I almost said more exposed. I don't know. That was very odd. I don't know where that accent came from because I am not from the South. And, I guess I could see versions of this where, it gets more complicated, right, where giving up those abilities can, and those items, it doesn't just affect what I can do, but maybe affects my stats or something, right? I think there's a lot of potential to take a concept like this and have a lot of stuff. Oh, a roll. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. This room, this is the last room, I think, and it was the hardest one to design for sure, because we needed to account for all 4 possibilities of you only have attack, you only have speak to the ghosts and stuff like that. So we basically, like, if you were able to look at the room from a zoomed out perspective, it's just like literally 4 different tracks that you can go down.
That you can go through each path, because I can't, because I don't have Blink here, I can't go this way, so I have to find the right path. All I have is the double jump.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think, this level isn't the most elegantly designed, but that's what we had to do to, like, to tie everything together.
Right.
For the prototype.
Maybe I'm heading the right way. I played through this briefly. I'm definitely not heading the right way. Ow! Spikes. The worst. I'm definitely not heading the right way. I'm going to be stuck here for hours. This recording is going to go on forever. Was this... I'm sorry to interrupt. I was going to say, was this your first time doing, like, leading an AF thing, right?
Yeah.
How did that feel? Was it scary? Was it really rewarding? It's got to be both, right?
Yeah, it was cool. It's pretty crazy. It kind of just feels like from the beginning to the end of the process, it's just go, go, go.
Right.
You don't really have too much time to stop and think about it. I mean, it's interesting when, like, the day is over and you go home and it's like you're still sort of in the AF mindset, still thinking about all these, like, creative things and having ideas all buzz around in your head, but you're at home, so you can't really do anything. I feel like those were, like, the weirdest parts. But when you're in the studio, it's kind of just like, okay, what's the next thing we gotta do? Okay, let's solve this problem. I'm
just running around without my abilities for a minute to see where I would and would not maybe be able to go. I'm sure I could. I did QA for a little. I'm sure I could go into weird places. Yeah. I tried hard enough. Let's hop on down. Was this... though I guess... I always forget how long folks have been at the studio. I feel bad, but it's also... I haven't met any of you, technically, still, because of how I've been remote the entire time, right? So, So I think about that, but I guess, was this your first AF as well, or had you done one before as well? That's amazing. That's really cool that you hop right into it, huh?
Yeah, it was really nice to see that the team trusted me and actually wanted to try out my idea.
I'll run through a little bit more after this again, just to talk a little bit, so that we have a little bit of time and we can I can give up abilities in slightly different orders and things like that, I guess.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I recommended 4 just because I wanted to assume that my workday is pretty much done. Like.
Oh yeah, of
this.
course. Oh yeah. For a minute, I thought you meant 4 abilities. I was like, oh yeah, 4 abilities is good. You mean for the time that we're recording right now?
Yeah. So don't worry about I don't have to get back to anything today,
yeah, of course.
So.
I guess a question that I have, right, just thinking about this process, is then for you, what's the big takeaway in terms of a lesson learned for, how to manage, kind of as a project manager or as a director or things like that? Like, what were some of the lessons that you started to learn as you and the team brought all of this together into something that we could play and enjoy and show off to people?
I think the most successful parts of the project were when there was sort of a balance of letting people just go off and do whatever they wanted to, whatever they thought was a good solution to something, and sort of just go off and do crazy stuff, but also have enough direction to not be just sort of feeling lost or aimless.
Sure.
And I sort of wanted to go in more on that side of things, everyone, this is a time for unbridled creativity, and I just want you to do what you think is fun. But over a little bit of time, I realized it's better when at least there is some box that you can work in
Yes.
as a creative person, even if the box is really big. You don't really just want a do whatever, because that's just, it just doesn't really work. So I guess that's the idea of having a vision for a creative project.
Sure.
I guess that's sort of something that I learned, and something that I learned the importance of during this.
Do you know who are doing these voices right now? I can't quite tell.
Yeah, I think Mora, our normally an environment artist, but for this project she did concept art. She's doing the main character,
Yes.
and then Monica Chin Perez, who's normally the office manager,
Is doing Persephone.
Is doing Persephone. Yeah. One other thing that I learned, one thing that I actually didn't do so well that I learned from on this project was I wanted Monica to be on our team because she has a degree in museum studies, and she knows
really?
so much about all of this stuff. So I wanted her to come onto the team and help with the writing and the story for the game. And
I love this little stab that they do.
Yeah,
little stab down.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
That's something that I would not have even thought of. That's just, something that someone on the team was like, it would be so funny if they, it's
very it's very charming.
Yeah.
You were saying about Monica being on the team.
Yeah, and I wanted her to help with the story, but I guess I didn't realize that I sort of took over a little bit and
Sure.
sort of did a lot of the writing, even though I had explicitly wanted her on the team to help with that. And it wasn't until after the process that that I kind of realized, or that she let me know. And so I guess what I learned from that is I don't know, make sure that you're actually allowing everyone to be the expert that they were brought on to be.
Sure.
And let everyone express the creativity that they were brought on to do. It just doesn't feel good when you're excited to do this cool creative thing, but then, someone else sort of just comes in and does it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's something that I learned and will definitely be working on going forward.
I think that's a challenge when you're in a leadership position in any case, right, is knowing, especially if you are somebody who's, in theory, you're coming in, this is, a concept that you've pitched, and then everybody, there were all the votes to see what projects got chosen. And I think when you're in a position of a lot of, or what really feels like a lot of ownership over a thing, right? It's hard to know. Maybe not hard to know, but in the thick of things, right? There's a lot of investment that exists that can lead to sort of like what you're talking about of stepping in. Maybe in places that you wanted to let people shine a little bit more. I think that's a really hard balancing act, right? I think that's something that I think that's a muscle you flex over any time you're in charge of a project. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. These flames, which if I didn't have the teleport, I don't think I can even get in here.
Yeah, you can't get it. So yeah, this is a blink required.
Interesting. I forgot all about it. Powerful. Because spoiler alert, I told you earlier, but I've been playing through some people's projects a little bit. I've been trying to keep myself somewhat unspoiled in the sense of I don't want to play them into the dirt, so you know what I mean? I want to still stumble upon certain things, but I did play earlier before this session. I did run into that room. I totally forgot about all those all that fire. That's really fun. Like those are the cool moments, right? In a game like this, is finding those little hallways or trinkets or things like that, which is really really good.
Yeah. See, now you can't get.
Now I can't get to it. That's why. That's why I didn't take it this time, because now we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. I'm gonna just in this time I'm gonna get rid of.
Oh man.
Action abilities first, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of the playtests that we did with this, people definitely got rid of the helmet one first, the talking to ghosts, just because it doesn't give you any really added mobility or utility.
I get that. I get it. I did that the first time around just because I wanted to be able to show off stuff a little bit more. But also it's I don't know. I think if I was playing this in some ways, can I get up there? I don't know if I can. No, Ambrosia. Heartbreaking. Because I wanted more time to show off the abilities, but I think, for me, the type of player that I am, I would be the person who'd be trying to find every ghost and little lore nugget and story stuff, right? Because I'm a theater major, I'm a nerd. I love that stuff, right?
Yeah, I definitely would do that too. And so the first 3 powers actually were really pretty quick to figure out.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh no, don't do this to me, game.
I think it'll disappear. Okay.
It will.
Oh no. This is a tough room, I guess.
I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Ah!
Oh!
Oh no, I did fall.
Oh no!
That's so funny. Oh no, the platforms are messing with me entirely. It's okay though, it's okay.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, wait. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I actually forgot we added a checkpoint system to this game, because you when you died, you actually went back to not the beginning of the level.
Oh really?
You went back to right there. Yeah. Oh yeah, checkpoint reached. So.
Yeah, there it is. Pops up on the
forgot
screen
about
there.
that. We did little things like that.
Love these little fellas. They're my friends.
Yeah.
We should make little figurines of them.
They look kind of sad. It's you want to help them, but
yes.
Yeah. But
because now this time we can talk to the lost soul. It tells us that they're there. In a full game, who knows what they could be telling us, or the things that they maybe they could give me a cool item. Who knows? maybe being able to talk to a ghost pays off later on, right?
Yeah, in the full game, it would totally be something like, maybe a shopkeeper.
Yeah, I was gonna say a shopkeeper was the thing where my mind went to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the first 3 powers, the attack, flight, and blink, came pretty quickly. But the 4th power, we wanted to figure something out that was completely unlike the rest of the powers, so that it actually provided an interesting choice, and that you'd have to give up something that was like really unique in order to do it, and it would sort of cater to a different player's play style, like you and me, who love talking to NPCs and want to get every single secret and dialogue choice,
So the journalist in me wants to ask a question, which is I think, because I do this, I would do this all the time when people would use the word that I always want to ask people what they mean when they say that word, because it would come up in interviews and stuff a lot. For you, then, because you said an interesting choice, for you, what makes a choice interesting? It's a loaded question.
Yeah, I guess what makes a choice interesting to me is trying to forecast the different ways that it will affect your play later. If I had to choose between flight and the helmet, for example, I, would think about, okay, what has flight already done for me? What has helmet already done for me? What could helmet do? And flight is pretty self-explanatory. It can help you get to cool places and different secrets and stuff, but the helmet has all of this sort of unknown potential. You could, just sort of run into anything that you could activate with the helmet.
Right.
So I feel like that, at that sort of intersection, and that sort of like crossroads decision point, I feel like that's what makes it interesting. And then seeing what that choice, how that choice changes things, like what paths can you not go down, what paths were you able to go down, and what effect it had.
I always think about that because that's the famous Sid Meier quote, right? Which is that games are a series of interesting choices. But I don't remember if he ever personally, maybe he does. It's been a while since I think it was in a GDC talk some time ago, Sid Meier. He said games are a series of interesting choices, but I don't remember what he considered to be interesting. But every now and then when people use that word, I always ask, so what's interesting for you? And that's helpful to know, which is good. Look at all these steps. It's big.
Yeah. We really wanted to emphasize the way down.
The way down.
That you're going down.
I can look down for a minute if I
snap
down. Can I look up? Oh, I can. That's the dream.
Yeah.
In a big game, there'd be a cool map or something too. So I guess I have one other big question. That's been on my mind too. Is why the Greek choice? Was that just because that felt like the most logical way to create a place to explore, which is like, hey, go into Hades, go down? Is that kind of what it was, or did you ever have a situation where you were imagining different settings or kind of aesthetics for this project?
I think the initial mechanic, like core mechanic of losing powers was, you have that first core mechanic, and okay, well, you try to think of what are beings that have unlimited power that then could, get power taken away bit by bit until they become mortal, essentially. And
gods.
It's like, okay, like, that's super easy to map onto Greek lore, where there are gods and demigods and mortals who turn into gods and gods who turn into mortals. So it just was a pretty natural theme for the mechanic.
The difference now that I have been playing this a couple times now, looking at the difference of how you are at the start, at the end, it's really cool.
Yeah, our character artist Rusty, like, I couldn't believe he made this crazy great character in just, like, it wasn't even 2 weeks, because the first couple
Right.
days or so, you're, like
so much
brainstorming
here.
and
Yeah.
trying to figure out what you're actually gonna do. So it was more like a week and a half or so. But yeah, it's like really cool. All of her different pieces of armor can, come off and stay on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. Now I'm going to be spending I'll tell you what'll happen. Tonight I'll just be thinking of like, what other cool powers could there be? Right? Like I'm going to fall down that rabbit hole now of like, oh gosh, like what other cool powers could a game like this have? And the answer is like a ton, right? Just like so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not all of them are actual things you could put into a game, but I'll still think of them and come up with weird stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to see if is there anything else that you feel like folks should know about the project before we close out for today? Any shout outs you want to give, props you want to say?
Yeah, I guess I wanted to mention, so as you go down the different levels of the underworld, you notice up here it's sort of like Mount Olympus, idyllic, Elysium sort of, and you're at the entrance to the underworld. There's even a statue of you up there.
Right there.
But and this is fully just Greek themed, and as you go further down, we actually tried to mix in more like heavy metal influences with the music especially, but also visual elements, like in the background of the final level I think there's a big skull or something, and we were kind of calling it like Greco metal aesthetic.
Greco metal.
And Nick,
rock and Roman.
Rock and exactly.
There we go.
And Nick Maxim, the environment artist, was like really amazing at, like, Maura was really great with the concept art, and Nick was really amazing at making it come to life. And also, I guess the second thing is it's actually really hard to make a good feeling jump, a good feeling blink, a good feeling run, or so. One of our team members, Brian, he's a programmer, and he really loves like fast-paced games that rely a lot on the feel of basic movement, like Celeste and stuff like that. And so he helped a lot with getting that feel down. Yeah,
I can imagine, right? A jump at all. Like, I don't know. Celeste is, out of any game I reviewed when I was a journalist, that was the only one I said, there's nothing bad about this game. And I said, the jump is great, and that's all you need to know. So you're right.
Yeah.
Like, a good jump does help. And this actually, the double jump here is really snappy in this. I think you can see it, but it does feel very snappy when you use it.
Yeah, and there's even little things like how much do you dip down after you go up, because you could just keep going up when
if I double jump and then...
Yeah, and
like
it's
that.
like, it makes gravity feel different in the world. It's just like, it's complicated.
How much fall control do you have, or things like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I shooting it? Because I can still course correct myself a fair amount in the air, but not too much. Some games let you go wild on it, right? And some games just make you jump and then fall to your doom.
Yeah, and we didn't want flight to overlap with blink too much.
Right.
So blink is this horizontal movement power. So we wanted to make sure flight was more of a vertical movement power. So that's why there isn't a ton of horizontal movement when you
Blink's real nice thing too is that it has that very understandable set distance. So later on, I think it's in the next level even, there are some times where platforms are spaced in such a way that all you need to do to traverse them is just hit blink. If you're on one platform and you hit blink, you land directly on that platform, and I think that's a really cool feeling, right? Because it's nice to have this way to go past obstacles, but I think it's also really cool to see steps or platforms and know that you can just snap right over them too if you plan it right. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else that I would volunteer.
I don't know. It's no worries. We're gonna end up playing through all of these with the project leads, and hopefully this will be coming. This by the time that people are hearing this on YouTube or anything else, it'll be probably a while from our actual recording, because we want to show off the AF movie that documents all of this fun and silliness at a couple different places. But for now, we'll have this, and we'll be able to show off the games, and then I don't know if we'll be able to have folks play them or not. A lot of things are in the air, but just having this and being able to talk with you is, I think, really important to kind of have a little bit of a post-mortem, because all the projects are really, really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's it. We'll go. I'll let you go.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So
we
bye,
gonna
everyone.
clap again?
No, we
Oh,
can actually.
sorry.
It's all right. No. This I'll probably keep all this. We can hit stop on our record buttons right now. Goodbye, world.
Bye.